Good day YouTube, welcome to another episode of Cryptolite. My name is Dan and today we'll be talking about Oyster Protocol. But first, before we do that, let's find our first winner for our first giveaway from yesterday's video. For those joining us for the first time, we do not usually give regular giveaways, but yesterday as a channel, we hit our first milestone of 1000 subs. So to celebrate with the guys who have been traveling with us, we decided to do our first giveaway of $50 worth of Ethereum. And the winner of that giveaway is, drumroll, Run and Gun. But Run and Gun, you didn't put your Ethereum address. We've got to pick someone else. Alright, drumroll. And it's Jensen Chang. Still loving my bro? Hope you miss Singapore and its food glory. Oh, and did you manage to get in on next token KYC? So Jensen has been one of our regular followers. I'm very glad that he won this giveaway, and he also recommended to us our next ICO token. And Jensen, no, I haven't received an email from them, so I was still hoping to get into the second round of the next lottery. So big congratulations to Jensen, and thank you so much for joining us and participating, and also to everyone else who has been supporting us through this journey. Thank you so much for your support and encouragement. And just like Jensen Chang's name that we recognize, we know many of you by your YouTube name because we've chatted with you guys in the comments. And though we can't thank all of you individually, we really want to say a huge thank you to each and every one of you. Okay, Oyster Protocol is one of our top picks for the month of April because of two big events coming up. The first is their airdrop, which is happening in 2 days and 23 hours time, and the second is their mainnet launch, which is going to happen sometime in the month of April, so this month, which is basically the biggest news for any protocol project. So as promised, we will now do a deep review of Oyster to help you as an investor understand what this project is all about and whether or not it's a coin that you would like to add to your portfolio this month. To learn more about Oyster, keep watching this video. Oyster Protocol is a very ambitious project. Just like a 4-in-1 shampoo, Oyster attempts to do 4 things as a crypto project. Firstly, it aims to remove unwanted apps from website. Secondly, it aims to provide a decentralized storage. Thirdly, it aims to provide cheap and encrypted communications. And fourthly, it aims to be a decentralized app or dApps platform. We're going to go through each of these features in details. The first 2 features are governed by the Oyster Pearl currency, and this is the currency that has been out since they were first launched, and so these are the 2 aspects of the project that most people are familiar with Oyster. The third and fourth aspects of this project, though, are governed by the Oyster Shell currency, which will only be launched in 2 days' time in the airdrop. And these are therefore the 2 aspects of the project that most people are not so familiar with yet. Talking about their first feature, which is to remove unwanted advertising from websites. So adverbs pop up on websites are annoying. They take up bandwidth. They're also potentially malicious in the sense that it can collect the data of people who click on it. Many ads on websites these days are layered ads, meaning that even though you only see one top cover layer, there are actually 9 ads stacked on each other. So when you click an ad, you suddenly find yourself redirected to multiple unrelated websites, or you find you may have a malware installed on your computer. To combat this problem, Oyster is providing website owners with an alternative way to monetize their website by making it a web node for the Oyster Protocol. They have made this a very simple process. You simply add 1 line of HTML code, and that enables the website user to contribute a small portion of their CPU and GPU to help run the Oyster decentralized storage, which we are going to talk about next. The amount of CPU and GPU used for the website user is very, very small. It's actually less than loading an ad. So website viewers will find their browsing quicker, safer, and more pleasant without unwanted ads. The website owner will be paid for hosting a web node, and this is potentially game-changing because with a single line of code, it means that any website can potentially have a free source of passive income as well as get rid of unwanted ads. So why wouldn't you use it? The second aspect of Oyster Protocol is the decentralized storage. Just like we use Dropbox and Google Drive as cloud storages to store our data and even share them with our friends, Oyster wants to do the same but as a decentralized storage. The difference between being a decentralized storage as opposed to a centralized storage like Dropbox or Google Drive is that it cannot be hacked, and the storage owner cannot actually access your data, so it is truly private. The decentralized storage of Oyster is not actually a blockchain, but rather the IOTA Tango. IOTA doesn't use a blockchain to achieve decentralization. Rather, they use what is called the Tango, which is basically a mathematical algorithm that's called directed acyclic graph, or DAG. If I was to try and explain IOTA in a very simplistic form, think of it as a system where every new transaction on the uh, chain has to approve two transactions that came before it. So it's a self-sustaining model that, unlike traditional blockchain, which becomes slower the more transactions you have, IOTA Tango actually speeds up the more transactions you have. So this is the model that Oyster Protocol uses. However, where transactions on the IOTA networks are free, in the Oyster protocol, because they are providing a service such as data storage, it's not just a transaction but a storage facility, they have to charge money. There isn't any suitable mechanism in the IOTA network for Oyster's purposes, so they use Ethereum smart contracts to facilitate payment for use of the data storage and create value for the Oyster Pro token. So basically, Tango is the storage facility of the data, but smart contracts are the government of the payment system. The very clever thing about the Oyster project is that besides having more than one key aspect in the project, it actually manages to merge all of these different features into a self-sustaining system. Let me explain what I mean. So far, we've discussed the decentralized storage feature as well as the removal of ads feature. Now, the income that we get from the decentralized storage, which at the moment is one Pro for 64 gigabytes of storage for 1 year, this payment or income source will be used to pay the website owners to replace unwanted advertising. Website owners in this whole system then are known as web nodes. Okay, and besides paying the web nodes, there are two other nodes or two other parties that Oyster has to pay. These are the hook nodes and the broker nodes. Broker nodes are basically the orange circle that you see here, and they are the middleman between the web nodes and the Tango. So the broker nodes are the ones that give the web nodes the contract and the things to process with the CPU and GPU power that they have. The broken nodes are also the ones that will eventually determine the payout that web nodes receive. Hook nodes, though, they are basically the IOTA nodes, which in a very simple way you can think of them as the storage nodes. Now, currently, because Oyster is still in testnet phase, all broken nodes and hook nodes are owned by Oyster, so you can't create your own nodes yet. But with Mainnet launch, which is happening sometime this month, it is expected that token owners will be able to buy and host these nodes, especially hook nodes. So definitely keep your eye out for more details. Now, in a project review like this, you usually hear the term consensus algorithm. These are terms like proof of work or proof of stake. Consensus algorithm is basically describing how different crypto projects use their nodes to help the project to function. And there are many different ways of using nodes. In Oyster's case, because the nodes owners have to actually do the work of transmitting, processing, and storing data, their underlying consensus algorithm is called proof of work. Now, moving on to the newer aspect of the project, which is their low-cost encrypted internet access and peer-to-peer communication globally. The best way to start describing this feature is to think of a VPN. Most of us understand what a VPN is. A VPN is a service that provides you with a different or false IP address. So this allows internet users to surf the internet anonymously and even get access to internet content that they wouldn't otherwise be able to get access to. Example, accessing US Netflix if you are living outside the USA. As a disclaimer, we definitely do not condone any illegal activities. Now, whilst most of you will be familiar with the term VPN, I don't think many people are familiar with the term Tor browser. Tor browser is basically a decentralized VPN. So where VPNs only use a single service to give you that false IP address, Tor browsers use hundreds of different IPs from different users to decentralize and hide the path of your internet use. It is safer and much more secure than a VPN. And where the VPN service, okay, is a centralized source, so then the VPN owner has knowledge of your activities, and should the government pressure them, the VPN owner can actually give a record to the government of all the websites that you've visited. But with a Tor browser, the owners of the Tor browser actually cannot do this because it is truly decentralized and completely hidden. So Tor browser was initially developed for the US Navy, but since then has been used by many others, including the dark web and criminal activities, because it's basically the ultimate anonymity in internet use. The reason that Tor browser is not massively widely used is because it's actually very slow. If you think about it, where in a VPN, your data stream only goes through one node, which is the VPN server, so it doesn't actually affect the speed of your data stream very much. But in the Tor browser, your data goes through hundreds of nodes before getting to you, so it is much slower. But this is where Oyster Protocol comes in. Oyster is offering the decentralization of your IP by utilizing the mesh net of nodes that they already have in your system, in their systems, right? And because it's IOTA based, it doesn't become slower with more use. In fact, it becomes faster. Initially as well, because of the lack of nodes and scalability issues, they are exploring other options, including building their own Tango of the IOTA Tango and using other scalability tools like sharding to speed up transaction times. The use of this low-cost encrypted internet use will be both for internet access as well as streaming, example streaming the internet, but also for peer-to-peer communication, example messaging apps. You can also choose the IP address that you want shown, example pretending that you are surfing from China should you choose. The currency for this service will be Shell and not Pearl, and we'll explain why this is so later. The fourth and final feature of the Oyster project is the original intention of the project, which is to be a platform on which other apps or decentralized apps, dApps as we call it in crypto, can be built on. That's why Oyster was always a protocol. Protocol means platform project. Back in its early days, the advertising removal and decentralizing storage features were so hotly promoted that it became the selling point of the project, and that's what it's become known for in general. And people kind of forgot about its platform feature. But essentially, the Oyster Protocol is a platform that could host a multitude of apps. Example, email apps where your emails are stored on a decentralized server, or game apps where your personal data in the game is stored on the Tango, etc. As a platform, it offers the advantages of IOTA's Tango as well as Ethereum smart contracts. So it's a very unique project. It's going to be a very attractive platform in the long term because IOTA's underlying tech is really for a long-term goal because it just picks up speed the more nodes that it accumulates. Okay, as mentioned as above, Oyster is considering branching off IOTA to launch its own Tango, and we will have to wait to see the developments of these. Now, already the performance of the platform is very impressive. Furthermore, recently while in testnet phase, they changed their backend infrastructure from Java language to Golang to improve efficiency, and their upload speed increased from 0.00083 kilobytes per second to 2.2095 kilobytes per second. Basically, this is a 26,000% increase. So that's massive. Also, in the last couple of weeks, the dev team have showed the improved interaction of their infrastructure with the IOTA Tango. So where before over here in the dark image, you see large clumps of transactions, which are the red bits here. So this is not very healthy. It means that certain hook nodes were receiving multiple transactions and causing clumping, and it wasn't evenly distributed. Well, they've done some work on optimizing it, and the updated one is over here in the bottom right that you can see. And as you can see, it's all spread out and there's no more clumping. So basically the team does very regular updates to show the community that they are working hard, and this is them keeping themselves accountable to the community, which I find fantastic. All transactions on this platform will be done using Shell tokens, so it's great that the team here is very intentional and careful that both of their currencies have high use case. In my opinion, the platform feature of Oyster is what will really carry them to become the biggest income earning feature of the Oyster project in the long term. Now, let's talk about their tokens. Pearl tokens will have a value that is pegged to data storage. meaning it's primarily used for data storage, the more static functions of the Oyster project. Shell tokens, the new crypto for them, is like gas of the project, where it's used in dynamic processes, things that are moving, example transactions, communications, etc. The implications of this means that Pearl tokens will be more stable and thus more attractive for investors. Now imagine if you are an industrial investor, not a token holder, but an actual big company investor. The last thing you want to put your money to is a crypto project that is $5 on Monday and $1 on Friday. Or if you are a customer who's storing data, you can't be expected to be paying $1 in January and $10 in February. So by pegging the Pearl token not to the crypto market but to a worldly data storage value, it provides the Oyster's project interaction with the world users a lot more stability and attractiveness. However, this stability can also work as a double-edged sword because it can not only stabilize the price, it can also limit the price of Pearl. Let me explain a little bit more. Currently, the price for one Pearl token is 83 cents, and that will give you 64 gigs of data storage for 1 year. The market value of data storage at the moment from Google Drive is 100 gigabytes per month for $2.50, $2.49, basically $2.50 Aussie dollars. That's because I live in Australia. But if I was to convert that to USD, that would be $1.90 USD per month or $22.80 per year for 100 gigabytes. Now, if I only want 64 gigs, not 100 gigs, that would be $14.60. So by market valuation then, right, one Pearl token should be worth 1460 at least. And I say at least because Pearl is offering a safer, more secure, decentralized product. So it's severely underpriced at the moment. And if Pearl token ever went up to its market value that it deserves to be, which is $14.60, that would already be a 17.5x gains. So it's a good long-term investment. However, because Pearl is pegged to a data storage price point, okay, which at the moment the worth is $14.60, Pearl will never be worth $50, or it shouldn't be at least. Okay, so where some crypto projects we hope for 50x, 100x, with Pearl, that's not the kind of gains you're going to see. But still, I mean, 17.5x, that's a very, very decent gain. Now, whilst things like the crypto market condition or the popularity or demand of the coin may affect its short-term dynamic price, the long-term pricing is around $14.60. So going on this alone and nothing else, Pearl, if you want to invest in it, is more of a long-term hodl. And if anyone bought Pearl at this price today, they're almost guaranteed to make very good investment returns in a couple of years' time. Now, let's talk about Shell. We don't actually know a lot of information about Shell at the moment, but what we do know is that it will be pegged to the usage on the transactions on the platform as well as the general crypto market. So basically a currency like Shell is more of the true cryptocurrency, and the more you use it, the more the value will go up. Now, just as Ethereum is currently the biggest platform with the most number of dApps on its platform, okay, Ethereum therefore has the highest value as a platform on the whole market. Similarly, when a platform is launched or more people use their encrypted internet service as well as do more transactions on the Oyster platform, the currency value of Shell will go up, not Pearl. But what I should add here is that this is the theoretical understanding of Pearl and Shell. Okay, so theoretically, Pearl should be pegged to a worldly value like data storage value, and it shouldn't really fluctuate with the crypto market, but Shell should. But again, this is theoretical, and in the real world, this is not going to happen in the near future because, as you see with many other similar projects with multiple currencies like Steem, Neo, etc., we end up seeing all the currencies of all the projects moving up and down with the general market condition. And that is because as crypto projects currently, we just don't have enough volume. And also the investors in these projects are still too young and they follow a lot of FOMO and FUD, such that it's hard for currencies to reflect their real value. Because if crypto projects were really reflecting their real value, there is no reason for a coin to be worth 50% more in 2 days when their underlying tech has not changed. But anyway, coming back to Shell, two things will affect its pricing. First is the usage, which you will have a lot of and continue to grow as the Oyster platform grows. The second is the amount of its supply. Okay, more supply means smaller value, less supply means more value. Now, the amount of upcoming Shell tokens will be pegged as 1:1 with Pearl tokens. So there are currently 77 circulating Pearl tokens. So we expect 77 million Shell tokens as well. To avoid excess supply, there will be no token sale or Shell tokens, meaning the only way to get Shell token will be through the upcoming airdrop. What this means is that most likely the airdrop pricing when it comes out in 2 days and 23 hours time will not be very high. Okay, so that it doesn't actually cost the company too much to do the airdrop. But when Shell hits the exchanges, we can expect a very steep increase in price because one, we expect it to be undervalued at the point of airdrop. But secondly, okay, it will be a high demand commodity with limited supply, and also with the mainnet being launched, okay, its value is just expected to keep rising from the point of release. Now, what is important to know about Shell and Pearl is that where in the case of NEO and gas, right? NEO is the currency that is pegged to the worth of the current company, NEO, and gas is the transaction currency, like the gas of the system, okay? So gas will never be higher than NEO because NEO is the currency that's pegged to the worth of the company. In this case of Oyster, however, Pearl is pegged to the worldly price of data storage, not to the company's worth, but to the price of data storage. Okay, so Shell doesn't have the limitations of gas, and Shell could surpass Pearl one day. So if you think about that, and they're doing a 1:1 airdrop, and Shell has the potential to be bigger than Pearl one day, okay, we're talking about a lot of gains from this airdrop. This is a very attractive airdrop. Okay, moving on quickly, this is their team. It's a good looking team. This guy, Bill Cott's in the center, their CFO. He kind of reminds me of Harvey Specter from Suits. Okay, you have to click on the links under their names to check out their profiles in LinkedIn. And I have for some of them, and I can say it's a decent team with a lot of them having about 5 to 10 years of successful careers in their respective field. And there is a heavyweight as well, Alex Fermani, who has 20 over years of experience as a CTO and engineering manager, and he used to work in Amazon. Overall, it's a very decent sized team and very balanced in their role. And as I said, they do take a lot of effort to do frequent updates to their community, which I really like. The one major concern for me in this entire project is their CEO or chief architect, Bruno Bloch, okay, if that's even his real name. He has chosen to remain anonymous, and in a Telegram chat that I couldn't actually find, but I found many references to it from the social media, he explained why he stayed anonymous. Because I invented the protocol and that could have political repercussions in the distant future, considering the protocol is the first to enable truly guaranteed storage privacy. So because of that reason, he decided to keep his profile anonymous. Personally, I find it cowardly. He isn't willing to put his face up, but he's willing to sacrifice all his other team members to put their face and profile up so that they can stand in the firing line for him. He's also basically saying that if things go bad, he's going to bail so that no one can find him. And that just rings alarm bells for me. On their website, if you scroll down, they have no investors listed. That's not usual for an outstanding project like Oyster. One of my mentors taught me, you don't invest in a project, you invest in the person. And the way he explained it is if you have the right person, even if the project isn't right, he can make it right. But if you invest in the wrong person, even if the project started great, it may not end well. Now, personally, because I'm very strict with myself with investing and investment principles, I'm not going to invest in this project because of the anonymous CEO. If he was just a member of the team, I would still consider investing because I really like this project. But because he is the CEO, the person leading the project, I don't have enough faith in him to put my money in his hands. Now, I'll be the first to acknowledge that I may be missing a Lambo opportunity here. In fact, I probably am missing a Lambo opportunity here because every other aspect of this project screams awesome project. And I think that others who invest in this project have a real good chance to earn really good money. But for me, because I'm so conservative, I will just have to settle for looking for other opportunities. Anyways, this whole channel is really me sharing my thoughts with you on my own crypto journey. It's not financial advice, so please always do your own homework and make your own decision. One last thing I wanted to cover before we finish was their roadmap. So their official roadmap ends in April 2018, this month, okay, after their mainnet launch. And after this, they do have plans in 2018 to 2019, but this is simply decentralized Oyster apps, which means that more and more apps are going to be built on their platform. Um, this probably means that they will make a big deal of mainnet launch, and April is going to be a huge month for them. Uh, which they should, because a mainnet launch is the biggest news for a platform project. However, usually even after mainnet launch, most other platform roadmaps do have some events. Example, version 2.0 of the mainnet or platform, when they're going to introduce scalability solutions, etc. So it would be nice to see a few more details on their roadmaps after this event. Roadmap gives us some expectation as investors of what to expect, as well as accountability that the team is working and hitting the set milestones. It also gives us a sense that the team has direction. Direction is good because if the team is working towards a goal, they know what they are working towards. But if there's no written goal, over time people can become a little bit directionless. But look, in this case, all right, I'm sure that they will launch an updated roadmap, and more importantly, as mentioned above, the team do give regular updates, so they are being accountable to the community. This point is just for me something for potential investors to take note of and follow up, but it's not a major concern point for my end. In fact, the fact that they've managed to follow their roadmap all the way down to testnet release B and expected to follow it to mainnet release this month in itself very commendable. So that's it for me, guys. Oyster Protocol is one of our top picks for the month of April. The only reason it's not one of our long-term hodl picks is because of the anonymous CEO. Personally, I think this is one of the cleverest, most intricate, and most ambitious project in the crypto space. I absolutely love the project on the whole, and I love what they're trying to achieve, and I'm really looking forward to their success as a crypto supporter, so I'm definitely wishing them all the best. Thank you to all of you again for supporting us and encouraging us in the last 6 weeks since we launched this channel. I hope that this video was helpful to you and I didn't step on too many toes with my comments. We'll be taking a break tomorrow, but we'll be back the day after. I hope you guys had an awesome Easter long weekend. Take care and we will catch you soon.